That looked successful as
It really did.
oh my gosh. So, okay, good for you, StreamYard, because like Riverside can't do that, but I also still like Riverside for different reasons.
Right.
Hi all, welcome to Snip's Comlink. What is up? I can't believe we're here. I'm so excited. You people don't understand this. Like I've been wanting more females on my podcast for the longest time. Like no shade, I love all you boys. I love the bros. The fam's great. But something about having another girl with me here is just awesome. Listen, I'm now caffeinated, so what I may say and what I may do is just out of this world.
Yeah, I haven't had my pancakes yet, so who knows what's gonna happen.
I haven't had pancakes in so long because I've become gluten-free and dairy-free, and let's just say pancakes doesn't do well for my system anymore, and it's a travesty. Like it's like I can't eat if I want to go to I don't know if you guys have IHOP in Canada.
I think we might have a couple.
Okay. In the States, oh my God, high school, I would skip after school to go straight to IHOP. There was one day, kid you not, we skipped out on school. We drove into the school, parked our cars, made it look like we went to our first class. Second that bell rang and security had just walked away from the gate that barricaded all the cars in. Someone unlocked it and we to IHOP. And we would just stay in IHOP because we're just like, okay, we have some cash on us. Like, you know, it's not expensive to have breakfast here. Mm-hmm. And we would hide out for like 4 hours and then go to our local mall. How I made it through high school, I don't know. But here I am like 10 years later.
It was worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my God, the children didn't know back then what we did to skip out on school. Now it's so much. People actually enjoy going to school now, which it's great. Well, I don't know in Florida, but like every single person I've been hearing here, like when I've been living in Georgia, like I love going to school, and I'm like, I never said that a day in my life.
I know. Yeah, I can't trust those people. They're not my people.
No. That's too much excitement. And I'm like, I'm not making a TikTok video. I'm just asking you how you like going to school. Like, I love it. It's so much fun. Said no one ever. I would say this. The only time I would love to go to school is if the following things happened. If Obi-Wan Kenobi was my teacher. If Yoda was the principal.
Right.
And if Ahsoka was that sub, the cool sub that would come in and just play movies all the time, I'd go to school then. Aside from that, I don't want anyone else to be my teachers.
No.
But basically, aside from this whole little chat we just had, hi guys. If you don't know who the hell I am, I'm not judging you at all. There's a but I'm Natalia, aka Nat, or you can call me Natty. Or Natty Light. That's become a thing now, which is hysterical because Natty Light is like the cheapest beer you can buy here in the States, and it tastes like shit. But I'm the host of Snip's Comlink, where we just talk about different nerdy things. And if you don't know anything of these nerdy things, good for you, because neither do I. I'm just kidding. I know some things, but of course, like, I'll have people come on my podcast that know more things. For example, we have Victoria here, who is a wonderful face painter. If you don't follow her on Instagram, stop this video right now, pause it, get on Instagram, follow her at The Dork Side. Also follow her YouTube because she does covers as well. And see her amazing work. Like, kid you not, so jealous you are in a different country than I'm in right now, because to have your talents here would be great. But basically, my podcast, we talk about anime, Star Wars, primarily Star Wars, because that's my gig, that's my shtick. But enough about moi. Victoria.
Ooh, that's me.
I did give you a little introduction, but did I leave out anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't really have a rhyme or reason to what I put on the internet. It's kind of just what I'm feeling. So, this is one of those things. We're adding it to the list.
I love it. I'm here for it. So Victoria and I met last year, like I would say like over a year now, like over a year ago now, because we met during the Bad Batch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We met on some guys' video streams about the Bad Batch, and I've just been following her ever since, and I've always been a fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, of course. And so, like, for example, like when it comes to makeup and when it comes to face painting, like I only really know makeup. And one reason why I know makeup is because growing up, I watched those YouTube videos, like Michelle Phan or Juicy Star 07. I would learn how to do basic makeup from there. And then I've kind of grew from like outgrew that into like Jeffree Star and Manny Yummy Way.
Right.
And then even like gone past that and just now follow Michaela Noriega on TikTok, who's such a sweetheart. And that's like my own journey with makeup. I've never really thought about ever face painting a character or maybe a scene, or I've never really considered doing face paint. Only time I actually did it is it was for the Star Wars half marathon back in 2016, where I thought, oh, I can run a half marathon with no training.
Ooh,
and I decided to do Ahsoka's face markings on my face because I was wearing an Ahsoka costume to run. That's the only face painting I've ever done. That's only my experience. That's my little contribution to the face painting world.
Hey, that's great.
But that was 2016, and I haven't done it ever since. But like, what got you into face painting? Because that's something so specific. It's not just putting on a costume. It's literally like taking a character and literally transforming into said character.
Right. So it kind of started like how your regular makeup thing starts. You know, you watch someone on YouTube and you're like, hey, I want to try that. But it was a long journey because I started watching Made You Look and Cat Sketch on YouTube like 10 years ago. I'm realizing maybe like 8 years ago, something like that. And I would just watch them to watch them. It was like a spectacle. It was like, oh my goodness, how are they doing this on their bodies? And it wasn't until I actually was in quarantine for the thing that's happening, the panorama. It was
panorama, the one that we're still in, unfortunately.
Yes, we are still in it, just so we're all clear.
Yeah. The Rona Ramic is still here.
So it wasn't until about 2020 that I actually started doing like a full body face paint thing. I did like Ahsoka a little bit. I did Gamora, I did Joker, but that was all just my face. And I didn't do anything like the bust up until I think it was March or something, 2020. And it was Darth Maul, so that's quite the leap.
That's very intricate.
Yes. But I think it was a good place to start because it is a lot of lines. It's not like shading or, anything where I have to do a lot of thinking because I just line up where the line is on his face. I put it there on my face.
Oh, that's actually kind of smart because everyone's face shape could be different. But if you really kind of think about it, like aligning it to where they would have had it on their face to yours kind of would make it more accurate for sure.
Yeah. It definitely makes it suit you better, I would say.
Okay. Do you do are you wanting to do like tutorials on YouTube, kind of like how Made You Look does it? Is that eventually like what you want to do?
That would be fun. It would be really difficult because it's a really long process.
How long did Mall take you?
Mall took me like 4 or 5 hours.
Dedication.
It's dedication.
Dedication. Yeah, face paint. Yeah, because I've seen Made You Looks videos before. Oh my god, I think like way back in the day, way before she ever came out with her like line of products.
Right, yeah.
Like, I had to be like what 6-7 years ago I started watching her, and she was doing like crazy like trippy stuff. And like now, I literally just saw a TikTok video of her, and her evolution is insane. But I can only imagine she did all that, and it probably took her like over 12 hours, maybe.
It takes a very long time. And that's why when you watch body painters, they are always painting in the middle of the night because you don't want to do anything afterwards. I start my body painting around like 7 or 8 p.m. so that after I've taken all the pictures that I want, it's like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I take it off and I take a shower and I go to sleep. Because you get very sore. You have your shoulders down for hours. So right here, yeah, it starts to hurt.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other day, I actually just like I saw a picture of Izzy, who is our mutual friend, and I was like, you know what? I haven't really like taken pictures. Oh my god! Don't tell me the fly just went into my freaking coffee. Of course you did. Disgusting. Great. Now I can't drink it. I'm just kidding. I just took it out. But I saw a picture of her, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't really updated pictures on my Instagram for a while. Let me do this. And my makeup probably took me close to an hour and a half because I was doing full face, and I was doing an eye makeup look I have never done before. I don't use like if anyone follows me on Instagram, my makeup looks a little bit more dark. Like I always kind of go with dark colors and dark lips, but I really haven't played with blacks and reds just because they're the most stain, or they're the most. It's to me, red and black are the colors like you could mess this up and it can look really really bad. So I was like, I was taking my time on it, and it just took me so long. And I'm like, at one point I was like, do I really need to finish this look? And I'm like, oh, yes I do. And I did it, and I got those pictures, but like literally at that point, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just like, yeah, I need to take this off really quickly. I was so lucky. There was one time, preface, if you don't know this, so I work for, I'm an assistant to an actress full-time, and I had just done one of my makeup looks, and she FaceTimes me. Like I literally have the ring light set up over there. I have like my lightsabers in the corner. She FaceTimes me. She goes, "Oh my god, girl, you look so good." I'm like, "Thanks." I just came back from dinner. I didn't have the heart to tell her.
Oh my!
She's taking pictures from my Star Wars Instagram. Granted, she knows I'm a big Star Wars fan. Actually, if you see it in this video, this rug was a gift from her. It's a Star Wars rug. But oh my god, I usually nowadays when it comes to makeup, I have to do it later in the evening because then I have these people calling me, and then they see my face and they're like, "Oh, where are you going?" And knowing me, I don't have any friends in Atlanta. I'm like, "Oh, I'm to dinner." On a date.
Yep.
This is what I decided to go with. But it was really, really funny. But so you go to bed, and do you like plan out your looks? Like for example, like this upcoming week I'm gonna try this week I'm gonna do this. So is it something you do like spontaneously, or like you have to plan out these looks?
Right. I think that, you know, in the beginning it definitely was spontaneous. It was more about what character I wanted to be, um, and how much I cared about them. Because, you know, you're spending about 5 hours on that. And that's not even including taking the pictures and editing the pictures. Like, it's a whole lot. So I feel like I have to really like the character in order to do that. So in the beginning, it was just, you know, oh, my night is free. I'll spend 5 hours just sitting here and painting myself. But I think I've been wanting to challenge myself in the looks that I do. So when I did Loki, which I was painting on clothing, it was really daunting. So I did sketch that out and color it how I would with paint, but with like pencil crayon. It was weird. Um, so I've been trying to do that more, but it's also a bit of a hindrance because I'm a very spontaneous kind of person, when it comes to my creativity. So when I feel like there's this extra step of planning, it makes me not want to do it. So here I am having not painted anything in months and months.
That's kind of how like for example, like I just posted my cosplay videos like yesterday and today. Actually, no, they were all yesterday. And I look back at those videos and I'm like, oh my god, I really want to like redo this if I can, because like it was my first cosplay. I literally was like, okay, I'll do Attack on Titan, but then I was like, the scout outfit is so basic. Like I want to enhance it because like I realize I'm not trying to cosplay a character. I'm just cosplaying somebody from the scout regiment, like somebody from like I'm not trying to like cosplay Hanji or Mikasa or any of these specific characters. I'm just trying to go for a generic character, and then I realize I'm like, oh, maybe I should plan and do this shit. But at the same time, like life happens. I'm like, watch me not touch it for another 5 months.
Oh yeah.
But to get to the real point as to why we are here, it's gonna get spicy. So grab your water, because we are here for. Hold on, let me see if we can get this right. Cosplay hot takes.
Ooh.
I know. I saw this little thing. I'm like, oh, this is dope. But so last week we did Star Wars hot takes, which was great. If you saw it on my channel, I had Simon on, and I love Simon. He's a great time. He's the most blunt person I've ever met. And his commentary, if I could sit and get a full commentary for anything from Simon, I'll sit there for hours. Dead ass, sit there for hours. But now we're doing cosplay hot takes. Listen, there's so many.
There are. Yep.
Okay, so let's start with our first hot take. I'm going to let you take the floor. And what is your first cosplay hot take? I basically, once again, did not write anything down like a dumbass. So I'm going to only do this based on what it's on my head. Or in my head, I should say.
We love that. Okay, first one here. What do we have? Okay, so this is more of like a personal thing. Making a screen accurate cosplay for me is a boring experience because it just feels like I'm taking notes off the board, or it's like a coloring book and you just color it in or something. Not that it's not difficult and that people who make completely screen accurate things are not doing this huge feats of creativity, you know? But for me, I think I just have so many ideas in my brain and I get so inspired by little things, especially when I'm working on a character. I'm spending so much time with them and I get so excited. So I want to do my own thing. And so that's why, you know, the Ahsoka cosplays that I've done, they're all like human Ahsoka because it's just so fun. Like I love the character and I identify with the character. So I kind of want to take it and make my own thing. you know?
I love that, especially with Ahsoka, because Ahsoka can be embodied in so many different ways. Like, it doesn't have to always be screen accurate Ahsoka. I love it when I see human versions of Ahsoka, or like hairstyles with like anything Ahsoka inspired. Because, like you said, the character, like you spend so much time with them and you find different characteristics about them that you're like, ooh, I really want to dive more into that. Like, we all know that Ahsoka was never a prissy, girly, flirty type of character. She was very, like, she's always one of the bros. So when I see someone like take a laid back version of her and just like, make it very modern and like humanize, I love to see it. And I'm pretty sure, like, for example, have you ever seen Ashley Eckstein when she gets her hair done? Like, with those, oh my God, so good. Like, maybe that's not body paint and maybe that's not a full face paint and a full thing what she's trying to do, but she's taking that one aspect of that character she really, really, who she is, the character she voices, and implements that into her life. Yeah, so I've definitely noticed that with your Ahsokas, and it's always, I love it.
Yeah, because it is a challenge, right? Like, how much can I change this character while still making it recognizable?
Exactly. Because, like, for example, a character like Ahsoka or Gamora, like, they're very recognized by the color of their skin, which is green and orange, or the face markings. Like, Gamora, from face markings, so does Ahsoka with her face markings. But that I can see your hot take for that. Like, being there, like, there is something about being original, especially when you're a creative person. You don't want to have to be copying somebody just because you're like, well, everyone else is doing this. How am I going to stand out in a crowd of millions and make it my own? So, okay, that's a hot take. Now, my hot take is, so I know cosplay has been existing, has been here. It's been in the presence of the world basically since the 50s and 60s, because that's when comic book movies were really coming out. That's when, like, comics were coming out. That's when people were like, oh, I can actually dress up like this character and I can see other people who are like me doing this as well, so I think this is a thing. But my hot take is that TikTok, the generation of what TikTok has become, so like within literally since the pandemic, my hot take is TikTok blew up cosplay and made it so normalized. And people, like, real OG cosplayers will probably say, like, no, like, it's been, we've always been here. Like people have been cosplaying for, I'm like, yes, that's correct. But there was always a stigma with cosplaying. Like, I remember growing up, and I punch myself now because there used to be a anime club back in my high school, and I was friends with some of the kids in the anime club. I'd never watched anime back then, but I knew a lot of cosplayers that were, they would cosplay during club time. And in my head, I would just judge them. I'm like, why are these weirdos doing this? Like, can't you do this at home? And I punch myself now because I'm just like, why did I ever think like that? Like, it was and that's because back in that time, this was like 10 years ago. Right. Being nerdy was like a marking for your weird, stay away from me. Like, these are the people that are never going to fit into society. But so my hot take being that TikTok has blew up cosplay is it's really, really normalized it, because I see now so many more TikTokers trying to be, so many cosplayers trying to become these influencers on TikTok. And it's insane. Like, I follow these two wonderful, wonderful people. It's Lanny Cause on TikTok, and it's FU Kuro on TikTok as well. And they have some amazing cosplays. And I'm like, this wouldn't have been normalized 10 years ago.
Right.
But now, like, it's such a part of society that I'm like, if I'm scrolling and I don't see a cosplayer on my TikTok, I'm like, is my FYP okay? Like, Like, did I click on the wrong button? Like, it's why aren't cosplayers showing up?
Right.
So that's my hot take.
And you know what? I have a real life confirmation of that, because I was going to conventions before the pandemic. Not many of them, but I've been to them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one in Toronto in March, Toronto Comic Con, and it is a smaller convention. It's about a quarter of the size of Fan Expo, which is in August. And so it was a pretty, I don't want to call it dead, but it wasn't the liveliest of conventions. Fast forward to this year, when we have Comic Con for the first time since the pandemic started, it was packed. It was like you couldn't move in some places. And I definitely feel like that has to do with not only just, we were allowed out and blah, 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 people got excited, but specifically so many people going to a convention. It has to be TikTok's influence. It really has to be.
Yeah. And like I said, there's going to be people out there be like, no, like, people were always attending conventions and people were always cosplaying. And like, this was such a normalized thing. And I'm like, it was for a very small group of people, but now it's become so mainstream. People are so scared of the word mainstream. Like, I don't want my favorite things to become mainstream. I think you really should want your things to become mainstream, because then it's going to be more accepted into society.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, for example, I remember, so I guess in Atlanta, there are there's three conventions that happen here in Atlanta. One is MomoCon, which I have never been to. One is Dragon Con, which is coming up, which I've never been to. And I think one is Anime Expo weekend, or like something like that, which is in October. And my best friend works events at these at the convention center where all these are being hosted, and he says every single year, like since the reopening of the pandemic, it's been more and more and more and more packed. And I'm just like, oh my god, like this would never have happened prior to the pandemic. So if you got upset at my hot take, deal with it. That's why it's called a hot take. So what's your next hot take?
Ooh, what's mine? Okay. Okay, so if you're in the cosplay space, the community, you've probably unfortunately seen some people ridiculing others for their cosplays, the quality of them, whatever. So my hot take is your cosplay being 100% handmade is not more legitimate of a cosplay, is not better than someone who buys their cosplay, someone who does thrift store cosplays, closet cosplays, whatever. It's all cosplay. And I think that first of all, you gotta know that people are not all at the same financial level. And cosplay is very expensive.
Yes, it is.
So, there are a lot of people who do thrift store closet cosplays at conventions that are having way more fun than the people who, and I'm talking about the rude people, than the people who have all this like crazy stuff on and they're just judging others for not having the same level of cosplay as them. So, handmade does not equal better or more legitimate cosplay. It's still great though.
No,
But you can't
yeah.
put people down.
No, I think, and you know what's crazy to me is that, if, according to my family, I'm literally saying this verbatim. According to my family, I am very special. I am a nerd. I am a weirdo. And we already get that from other people. Like the fact that we have to judge people in our own community, whether it's a fandom, whether it's cosplaying, where it's all these little niches. There's no reason to be hating and judging other people. Like we already suffered from this from the outside world. Why are we doing it in our own circles? It's literally it blows my mind, especially when it comes to the thing with money.
Mhm.
Like, if you can afford a cosplay that it's hand done, like you're doing everything from scratch and you're buying all these pieces and you're putting it all together, and the grand total could cost you up to a couple $1,000s, like, good for you. For me, I'm a broke bitch. So pretty much you'll catch me buying that good, cheapest looking cosplay on the internet for maybe like $80. And I'm going to rock with it because can't afford anything more than that.
Mhm.
It's also kind of the same thing like in the lightsaber community.
Mm.
And I mention this every single time. Like, I either, I don't own a lot of lightsabers compared to our friends, but like I have some lightsabers like that I just got in, and like I keep having to mention to people, I don't have money. So if I do get a lightsaber, it's because it's intentional, it's because I've been wanting it, it's because I've saved up for this. And then like people like judge saying, well, I have like 75 lightsabers. I'm like, good for you.
Mhm.
Good for you. But why are we putting each other down because you got more money than me? We shouldn't be doing this.
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But hopefully, fingers crossed, palms together. That's something I picked up from Danielle. She does it all the time. She's like, finger crossed, palms together.
I love that.
Basically, hopefully one day we will stop this judgment of like, oh, my cosplay is more expensive than yours, which means my cosplay is more elite to yours. I think hopefully one day that will go away. But I think maybe people do that so they can feel something. It's kind of like the same way like when people bully each other, like they want to feel something, they want to hurt somebody, so they'll say something. And hopefully one day, we will all be past that.
Right. Well, if someone is spending thousands of dollars so that they can feel like they're high and mighty, they're going to want to bring that up to other people and say, oh, look, my cosplay is so much better because I spent thousands of dollars. I did all this and all that, blah, blah, blah. It's unfortunate. They're not letting themselves have fun with something that is completely for fun.
Mm-hmm. Right. And this kind of like weasels its way into like my hot take, because my hot take is, and I've noticed this so much, especially during the pandemic. I mean, I noticed it when I was, when I used to be a Disney influencer, when I used to go to the parks all the time, and people were posting on Instagram. My hot take is that cosplay is for every single body. Like, body. I'm going to say this so many times. Cosplay is for every single body. Not for anybody, for every single body. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why our society is like this, but for some reason, I've always noticed that if you are skinny, if you got, nice boobs and an ass, which is great, mazel tov to you, your content will get so much better views and likes versus like a plus size woman or a woman with curves or a man with curves or a man with, like, not a fit body. Like, if they're cosplaying and they don't have that perfect body, they're like, they don't get the likes, or they don't like, and it pisses me off because there are some cosplayers out there that, have great content, great, they have great pictures, like great attention to detail, like that, they make sure everything looks right. And they just don't get the recognition they deserve or the praise they deserve because they're not skinny. If instead they'll get like hateful comments, or they'll get comments like you should lose weight, or like this isn't how the character's supposed to look, like, and it pisses me off because I'm like, you are just adding to the fuel to the fire that currently exists of people out there with self-conscious issues. Like, to me, like, I'm gonna be very honest with you, I don't post many cosplay pictures, or I don't post many pictures as I want to, because I'm so insecure about my body, because I'm thinking like, oh, well, if I don't look skinny enough, people are not going to like my content, versus, some people that I follow that are like, have the perfect bodies and they get all the likes. And I'm just like, I wish it wasn't like that, but Yeah, so my hot take is cosplay is for everybody. Like, I love seeing plus size cosplayers. I love seeing gender bend cosplayers. I love seeing non-binary cosplayers. I love seeing transgender cosplayers. Like I like seeing cosplayers that just what they like. So what you mentioned earlier in the video was you like adding your own piece of character to your cosplay. I like seeing cosplayers that enhance their cosplay with their own essence to make it their own. And hopefully one day we can get rid of this mentality that like, oh, in order for you to have like nice pictures on Instagram, like you have to be this one size and that's it, and not, every single size. But yeah, that's my hot take. Some like for example, there will people will be out there that'll be like, oh no, we don't think like that. Like there's no way, like we accept everybody. I'm like, you say that. But do you actually like these people? Like the people you're saying, like, no, we support everyone's body. Do you go to their content and post that they look really good or that they are doing a great job? Do you do that? Or you just like it and then don't leave a comment and let the haters flood up the comments?
Right.
So it's kind of like if you are saying that you're supporting every single body, then actually support every single body. Like,
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
You know what? That actually kind of goes into one of the hot takes that I have. I think, okay, so we've mentioned the toxicity in cosplay. As you've mentioned, people leaving hate comments. You see it in even just like Star Wars spaces or Marvel spaces, whatever. So I think that people mask their intolerance, whether it's homophobia or fat phobia or whatever, by saying it's not canon, blah, 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 blah. They mask it as if they care about whatever the topic is, but no, they're just trying to be hateful. So I think, like you said, like plus size cosplayers, they'll get comments like, oh, the character doesn't look like this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, it's just because you're just a douche.
You're ignorant. You're homophobic. You're fat. Yeah. Like you're all these phobics. Like it's, and it breaks my heart because cosplayers do put so much of their own time and effort into making their cosplays and to doing this. Like it's something that I have always admired from face painters, from cosplayers, is you're putting yourselves out there in a space that you want to be welcomed and just show what you can do. And then there's this shadow realm of people that exist in this world that just want to put everyone down. And to me, I can never understand it. Like, obviously I did say like, they just want to feel something. But it still doesn't make sense to me because like, they're not actively hurting you or they're not actively like doing anything to you. And so that point where you made that, they say this isn't canon, that is like it's like they're not probably wanting what they're trying to do probably isn't trying to be canon. They're probably trying to do their own thing. Like for example, I see so many, and I'm going to mention Attack on Titan really quickly because this is a perfect example. But I see so many Erwin Smith and Levi Ackerman cosplay, like joint cosplays together. And because people, there is this Yuri, like canon, like people like want them, like they ship them together. So I've seen a lot of cosplayers do those duos together, and people are just like, oh, like Aaron's not gay or Levi's not gay. Like no one like Levi likes women and Erwin likes like, and I'm just like, okay, I can see your homophobia coming through. It's very out there and present. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And you know what? Like cosplaying, like you said, you're putting yourself out there. It's so vulnerable. Like think about so for example, when I dress up as Catwoman, I'm in a pleather jumpsuit, you know, and I'm going out in public and I'm walking around with a whole bunch of people around me. I would not do that at a grocery store. I wouldn't do that at a mall, whatever. I'm going to this space because it's supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be fun. But some people, they take the vulnerability of others and they use that to feel powerful. They sit back and they judge people as if it's like a talent show or whatever. It's so sad. Like, why can't we just all enjoy this? We're all on the same level, you know? We're not coming here to get your approval. We're not posting to get approval. We're posting because, look, we're part of this space and we're allowed to be here.
Exactly. No, what you say is 100% correct. Like, it's everything. I'm gonna rephrase it like this. Every fandom, every niche that exists in the, I don't want to collectively say nerd world, but like in the specific worlds of like comics, movies, books, like games, like all this, like the creators made these things so people can feel safe in these fandoms. Like George Lucas created Star Wars. Obviously, like he created his movie with the intention of people to love it, which people did to a point where here, over 40 years later, still loving Star Wars. And I think that was his intention. He goes, this was my work. This was my story, not my story, but this is more of like my art that I wanted to present to the world. Hopefully, like people, I remember like, reading an interview that people originally didn't, were wanting George Lucas to fail. Like the Star movie is space opera about a kid and having daddy issues, like when his twin sister somehow comes into play. Like people were wanting this franchise to fail so badly. And he's like, well, somebody out there will like it. And somebody out there will enjoy it and find comfort and a safe space in it. So that's why he continued to do it. And then here we are over 40 years later. And they're like, I find comfort in Star Wars. I feel safe in Star Wars. I feel home in Star Wars. And I think that's what every single creator of their fandom wants, is for it to be a safe space, an open space, and a non-judgmental space. Like, I think that's just common sense. But not everyone's got common sense. And I think we've realized that in 2022.
Well, exactly. Because even if you look at the premise of Star Wars, the premise of Captain America, we're rooting for the good guys. You're supposed to. and that's the whole point of it, is triumph over some sort of control, and people just miss the point. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a very conservative, like orange guy loving person that's like, oh, I love Punisher. Oh yeah,
Punisher. I just realized what you meant by orange loving. I was like, you said orange loving, and in my head I'm just like, oh, Cheeto loving. Listen, is that how the Canadians see us? They just say orange loving.
Annoying orange worshipping.
Oh my god, they still exist too.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they take like the Punisher logo and they put their like American flag with the blue thing. Like, do you not know who Punisher is? Like, do you not know what Captain America stands for? Like, it's people just miss the point, and then they take it on other people.
It's funny because it's kind of the same thing when I see people doing the same exact thing, but with the Empire and First Order logos. And I think what people need to understand is like the Empire and the First Order, like they're there for power. They could care less about who you are, your sexuality. Like they could care. They just want to control you. And it's just at the end of the day, we all have seen the Star Wars movies. Triumph will always, good will always triumph tragedy. Like will always triumph bad. So like they are supporting these, or like they put those logos. They change their logos to make it look like that. I'm like, you're going to get defeated. Like it happens. Like it's in every single story. You don't see the First Order succeeding. You see them getting blown up. You don't see the Empire succeeding. Like the Death Star gets blown up twice. Like what? Like, do you not understand the good guys were always going to come out and beat you? Granted, I still love Kylo Ren, the supreme leader of the First Order. I think I just love him, and that's alone. And then everybody else, can go away. Yeah. But my next hot take. So my next hot take is I just forgot it. Oh, are you serious? It was on the top of my head. Oh, give me a second. You know what? Until then, what's your next hot take? It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me.
I'll give you a sec while I look at mine.
Okay.
Should I need to drink water?
Oh my god, wait, what was my next hot take? Why am I blanking on it? I literally just had it in my head. Oh my gosh.
You remember your train of thought?
Oh god, now I have to backtrack. That's
we were
the
talking
word.
about Kylo Ren, and we were talking about First Order. People being stupid and judging others.
People are always stupid.
It's true. It's true.
I love how we're gonna have this on the thing. Be like, people like, oh, I'm gonna watch these girls struggle to find what your next hot take. Jeez, people, give me some time. I'll figure it out. But whatever your next hot take is, I'm pretty sure I'll remember mine.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of like lookalike people, cosplayers. And I obviously you want to see the person cosplay as who they look like, because it's like, oh my god, that's Black Widow, that's Scarlet Witch, whatever. But this is a cautionary tale, okay?
Right.
Just because you can doesn't mean that you need to. You can cosplay whoever you want. It doesn't just have to be who you look like. Don't put yourself in a cosplay box, okay? It's not fun. Have fun. Do what you want to do.
No, and this is so important, and the reason why I'm going to say why it's so important is because I see so many Black creators and POC creators that are cosplayers that always get pushed to the side because they are not the same race as the character they're cosplaying. Like, who gives a flying tuck? Like, I saw this one amazing Demon Slayer cosplayer who is a Black creator on TikTok, and his content's amazing. He's out here doing jumps and flips with his sword from deep. I'm like, can you do that? No, absolutely not. But he looks so good. But of course, when you want to, like, when people say like, they want to see a cosplayer, they're like, well, that's not the right skin tone. Actually, there is this amazing Black creator. I think her name is Jahara Jade or something of that sort. And she like has cosplayed, kid you not. Let me see, am I saying this right? Yeah, Jahara Jade, it's her name. And she has done a complete lineup of Sailor Scout cosplays. And she's Black, and she incorporates her hair in every single look. That's not in a wig. She's not wearing a wig. She's literally like using her like natural hair, or she'll get like one that like fits with the look, and it looks so good.
Yes.
And there's still people that comment saying, Sailor, like Usagi isn't Black. I'm like, I don't give a damn, but she looks amazing. And so she like is one of those creators that I see that like she will go beyond and step out of that box that people are trying to put her in. And she goes, I will updo you, and I will do it with literally the best pizzazz ever. Like, if anyone's watching, please literally go follow her. Her name is Jahara Jade. And her cosplays of just the Sailor Scouts in general are just mind-blowing to me. Because it just proves like once again, any body, any skin color, any ethnicity, any race, any disability, anything you could cosplay. Like, you don't have to be put into this box.
Yeah.
Because society is telling you like, oh, well, this character is XYZ. You should not be XYZ. Granted, I will say this is kind of like picking up of what you just said. Just because of that, like, for example, there are some characters out there in the world that are very testy to cosplay. It's very common sense says you shouldn't cosplay XYZ. For example, in the Attack on Titan community, with the final season of Attack on Titan, you see the Marlians, who, you know, are a race of people that don't like the Eldians, and they force these Eldians to wear armbands that look very similar to an armband that we saw in the 1930s and 40s. And so when you see cosplayers that are trying to cosplay the Marlian warrior candidates, the Marlian warrior candidates have a red armband that have a different logo on it. But just because you want to cosplay a Marlian warrior candidate does not mean you need to add the red armband with said costume. Like, we will know what you're cosplaying just based off the outfit itself. You don't need to add that accessory on. There's that. There's also Tokyo Revengers. Like, love the anime, love Tokyo Revengers, but the gang that's primarily in this anime has a symbol on their back that resembles a swastika. It's just reversed. And when you reverse it, I guess, and I don't remember which religion, but it's supposed to symbolize peace.
Yeah.
Still, just because it's reversed and symbolizes peace, there's still that like thing with it. They're like, maybe you shouldn't. So I have seen it where cosplayers will actually like black out that part of their cosplay, like literally put tape over it so it's not shown. So, like I said, people, just because you're wanting to be screen accurate, but there's a little bit of controversy with your screen accuracy, maybe you shouldn't do everything that you see on screen. Like, take off the armband or patch up that thing. I mean, it could be the same thing with any fandom. It's kind of like, you know, there's always going to be some type of like, the bad guys have to be bad for a reason. Or there's like a character that's given a quality for a reason. Doesn't mean you have to literally take it and roll with it. Realize, like, just put your morals first and being like, you know, like, for example, it's just been the whole thing with like Attack on Titan, which it's obviously it's my favorite anime. And me being Jewish, it's always kind of like a touchy subject because it's like this resembles very much, you know, World War II kind of thing. But it's just common sense.
Yeah. Not too common, apparently.
I guess not. But it did. I did remember my hot take. It came into my head like literally a few minutes after you started talking. So my hot take is that it was kind of like also tiptoeing as to what we just talked about, but this has more of something to do with respect to other cosplayers. And you probably, you know, I don't know if you personally have experienced this with having gone to cons before, but just because someone is cosplaying your favorite character, you're at a convention or you may be at it could be a birthday party where everyone's just cosplaying, or you're hanging out with friends and you're all doing a photo shoot together, or basically anytime you're in cosplay and you see someone that you either admire, you've seen them on TikTok for a while, or you've seen them on YouTube, or you're just a fan of theirs and they have cosplayed something amazing, does not give you the right to go up to them, physically touch them without their permission, take pictures of them without their knowledge. Like, that's my hot take. Like, people are like, well, no, like you said it before, people are like, oh, well, you're out there, like, you know, people are, you know, you're allowing yourself to be I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Like, if you see a cosplayer and she's wearing something that's very tight forming to her body, or maybe not, she's revealing a lot, does not give you the right to act inappropriately to said cosplayer. And like, so like I see all the time. Like, so preface, I haven't really gone to a convention that's not been Star Wars Celebration. But of course, at Star Wars Celebration, I've still seen cosplayers. I've seen so many slave Leias that so many people just go up to them and, you know, be very inappropriate with them because they're wearing slave Leia.
Right.
Like, no, that does not give you the reason, just because she's revealing more part of her body, for you to be disrespectful to her.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I can never understand that.
Yeah. You know, we say cosplay is not consent. And there's also generally a rule that cosplayers like to follow where it's like, if a cosplayer is sitting down, you don't ask for a picture, because it's really exhausting, especially when you are someone that a lot of people want to take a picture with. You're spending a lot of your day standing and taking pictures and blah, 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 blah. And that's fine, you know, if the person says yes. Don't go up to a person and like put your arm around them and say cheese, you know, like we don't do that.
Triggered because that was me every single time at Disney. Like, it's for if the kids don't know, I used to perform at Disney for 7.5 years. I used to be friends with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Donald and all these other characters that were short. And I kid you not, there were times at Disneyland, you see this happen all the time. Characters will roam around free and they'll go wherever they want to go. And I'm like, what is that like? Because at Walt Disney World in Florida, God forbid Mickey were to be walking by himself along Main Street, USA, he would be attacked left and right. And I would remember I was doing a roaming set one day, which, if you don't know, a roaming set is like you're just roaming around. You don't have a set line. I was roaming around, hanging out with Vanellope. I think something happened to our meet and greet location inside, so we were just doing roaming sets. Ralph wasn't out because that's too big of a character to be just walking around. So they had Vanellope, and I remember just people just putting their arms. I'm like, like Vanellope got sassy. I was like, ma'am, I always couldn't say shit. I'm like, ma'am, like, why don't you ask my character attendant? Or how about you ask me, saying, hi, Vanellope, like, my son's a very big fan of you, like, can we take a picture? And I can understand that sometimes there's a language barrier because there's many people that come to Disney World, or there's many people out there that don't speak the same language, but it's still common, like, once again, common sense, like, hey, like, my child, can you take a picture with my child? Like, that's easy, but I have had people shove their kid into me, or there was one time someone handed me, like, I wasn't paying attention and I thought they were handing me their autograph book. They handed me their freaking baby. And then I realized after I had it in my hands, I'm like, I was like, in my head, I'm like, I can't. I'm like, obviously, don't drop it. And I think I was hanging out with Minnie at that time. So I like got down on my knee and like gently placed it on my leg to like kind of like shimmy it off onto the ground. But it's like common sense, like, don't hand your child. And this can go for cosplayers too. Like, there are so many times I just seen people just shove themselves into cosplayers to take a picture with them. And I'm like, just ask. Ask.
You know, the gag is, if you ask, you're going to get a way better picture. You're not going to see me look like,
Right. Oh my gosh. People are so stupid. And I'm just so curious as to like, sometimes it reminds me that like not everyone will be here forever. It's so bad to say, but it's kind of like, you know, the good people, like, you know, if you do it the right way, you'll get better results, like you just said.
Yeah.
If you do it the wrong way, you're obviously asking to get horrible results.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my hot take. I've seen it. I've seen many of my people that I follow on TikTok mention like when they're at conventions, like especially since we've reopened after a pandemic, literally say just ask to take a picture or just don't take a picture. You know, and I've seen it where there's like many of these cosplay photographers that could care less about that shit and will just take pictures of you.
Mm.
And I'm like, just because you cosplay somebody does not give you consent to just take these pictures. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It really shows you how much people feel like they have a right to you when you're dressed up as somebody. Like,
right.
I'm not getting paid to be here. I paid to get in. You know, I'm attending just like you are.
Right. And it's insane. What is your next cosplay hot take if you have one?
Oh, I think I have one more. Okay, so mine is you can cosplay a character you don't know a lot about. Because here's the thing. I think this is a running theme for this episode, you know. If you put so many rules on something that's supposed to be fun, it's not going to be fun anymore. You know, and I think that there's a big overlap between, you know, maybe like a fashion community and cosplay. Like some people just want to make a cosplay because it's fun, you know. Some people just want to get dressed up because it's fun, not necessarily because, you know, you've seen the movie or show that this person is in a million times. So yeah, I if you like how the character looks, you can dress up as the character. You know, you're not signing up to do a pop quiz every 5 seconds just because you put on a Leiku, you know, like just have fun.
Exactly. No, that's so important to like hear, and it's so important to like know, because there are so many characters out there. Like, for example, like one character I would love to cosplay is, I've been seeing so many of these awesome so I follow this one company that creates cosplays to sell and stuff like that. And all of these Genshin Impact cosplays look so cool. Have I ever played Genshin Impact? No. Do I know what names of these characters are? No. Do I know what their power is? Absolutely not. But I feel like if I were to go and grab like one of these cosplays and put them on and take a picture of them, people are like, oh my God, like I've played this game too. Like, oh my God, like this character's my favorite. Like, what's your favorite thing about them? And I'm like, I just thought the costume looked great. Like, I liked the wig. Like, I liked like this part. I like for example, I'm obviously more of an Attack on Titan fan than I am a Demon Slayer fan, but I would also love to cosplay Tengen Uzui, who is one of the Hashiras. But I don't know everything about Tengen. I just know that he's hot as hell.
There you go. That's
and
all
his
you
biceps are amazing. And that his makeup look is actually pretty like iconic for all the, like, you know, compared to the other Demon Slayer Hashiras. But yeah, you don't have to know everything. Like, it always blows my mind. It always just blows my mind, especially too with like, especially in the Star Wars community. Oh my God. Like, people, like, I see people, you know, obviously if you're cosplaying Ahsoka, it's because you really, really do like her as a character. But like people want to cosplay Padme, or they want to cosplay Anakin, or they want to cosplay like, you know, certain Jedi or certain Sith Lords. Or, you know, for example, like I think Darth Revan's cosplay looks really, really cool. Do I know fucking shit about Darth Revan? Absolutely not. Did I just find out recently he's from a video game and not from a comic book? Yeah, I did.
There you go.
Have I finished playing said game? No.
Nope.
No, I haven't. I'm still at that part of Knights of the Old Republic where I still haven't met Bastilla, who is one of the biggest characters also from Knights of the Old Republic. Haven't gotten to that point of the game where I have seen her. So it's just very, very weird. And just you don't have to know everything. Yeah. So my last cosplay hot take, I don't know if you want to call this spicy. Don't know if you want to say this is a hot take, this is general sense or common sense, but people who cosplay and hold on, I've just lost my train of thought.
You got this.
This is like the second time this is happening. Oh my god. Is it because I need more coffee? Give me a second.
You know, it's the fly. The fly just contaminated the coffee, and now it's not working.
Oh, Jesus. Remember it now. If you are a cosplayer and you have a big following, this is just my cosplay hot take. And this is also just common influencer, like, hot take in general. But for example, if you have a very big following, whether it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube, to me, I don't understand why they have to act like celebrities. Like, I see it happen a lot where I'll see these TikTokers or I'll see these Instagrammers and they'll just be so entitled for no reason.
Right.
And I don't get it. I'm just like, for example, I work with celebrities. I work with actors. I work with A-list actors. I've been this close a vicinity to Miss Oprah Winfrey herself.
Ooh.
And it's kind of like, so I understand having a huge following and embracing that and wanting to get to know your fans, but it's kind of like when I see someone acting like they're celebrity status and they're cosplayers, humble yourself. Take yourself down from that high horse, because what pisses me off is like you're going to have somebody that's been following you for a very, very long time that comes to meet you and they have a horrible experience because you're acting like an elitist person because you have all these TikTok followers or you have all these Instagram followers or you have all these sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. And in my head, I'm just like, there is no reason, because the only reason you are here right now is because people like that are following you and supporting you. And if you're going to just treat them like shit because your cosplay is, you know, sponsored by X, Y, and Z, like yours looks more accurate or yours is like the most elite out of everybody else. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
If anything, that only does to the community is puts everybody once again in boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's this, to me, it just makes no sense. And I think that's like my final hot take. Because I haven't been to conventions, obviously, but everyone's filming at conventions. Everyone's posting videos, or people will say like, oh, I had a bad experience meeting this person. Oh, I had a bad experience meeting this person. Or people will say like, you know, they were in passing and they saw this experience happen to somebody else. Like, that's not something you want.
No. And I think it kind of reminds me of when like little kids or teenagers or something, they start acting like adults. But it's like it's a caricature of adulthood, you know? So in this case, you have people with big followings that are acting like celebrities or what they think celebrities act like. And it's just not the case. Like a lot of for example, there's someone that I follow. She's a Toronto cosplayer. Her name is Who is Jalea on Instagram. She is the sweetest person ever, and she has a huge following. She gets invited to conventions all over North America as like a featured cosplayer, and she is so sweet. And that, I think that's a true testament to like if you want to be truly successful and lastingly successful, you be yourself and you be kind, because celebrities, they're not acting, well, some of them are acting like celebrities, but a lot of the celebrities that are really big, that you really want to meet, that you think are so nice, it's because they're being themselves. But they're just in this huge, wild space of Hollywood that is totally unprecedented for human beings. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine being Beyonce? Like, that's a huge weight constantly.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Like, for example, like I work for an actress. If you guys know her, she's been featured on Orange is the New Black and on Peacemaker. Her name is Danielle Brooks. And, you know, the sweetest, most humble person I've ever met in my life. She takes in everything, and what you see on screen is what she is. Like she just came out with a brand new show. If you should watch it on Netflix if you have the chance. A little shameless plug. It's called Instant Dream Home. And it's a character. Like, she's hosting the show as Danielle Brooks, and people are just like, "Oh my god! Like, is that how she is in real life?" I'm like, "Yeah, she is fun like that. She is funny. She she's an experience, and I love it because it kind of validated to me. Because I think that's the one thing I was nervous about joining the film industry is I'm going to be meeting these celebrities or these actors and actresses that are going to be entitled and think they're above everybody. And getting this firsthand experience working with her has kind of solidified to me like these people are humble. Yeah. These people who not deserve, but these people who should be acting like arrogant assholes are not. They're humble and kind and just want to do things like normal people do. Like there'll be times where, like, you know, when we were working on The Color Purple, like I wanted to, like, I told Danielle, I'm like, anything I can help you ease your load, like let me do, if it means like me getting you groceries. And she goes like, no. Like I like still going to the grocery store. Like I enjoy that. Like I take pride in doing that. So it's kind of like when I see cosplayers that have this elitist mentality of I'm not going to take a picture with you because your cosplay doesn't look good, or like I don't want to take a picture with you because I have other things to do. I'm like, what other things do you have to do? Like, are you hosting a panel? Like maybe that could be a good reason why you can't take pictures, because you're like, oh, I have to run to the panel, like I'm about to be late. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Or like you really have to go to the bathroom and you haven't gone in hours and you're like, I just can't take pictures right now. Mm-hmm. Or for example, you just got like, you ate something bad and you're like, now I'm feeling sick and I gotta go home. Mm-hmm. Like there's no reason why you should be feeling like you can't you can't go and appreciate the support your fans are giving you.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be there without them. So
exactly. And it goes back to what we were talking about before. Like this is a space that's filled with outcasts, like we are the people who have been put down for so long. Why are we putting each other down?
Right. Exactly. We shouldn't. And I hope that if anyone's ever watching, like me or Victoria, like I will never act that way towards somebody. Hopefully I will be seeing a lot of my UK friends when I go to the Star Wars Celebration next year. Mm-hmm. And I'm really just excited to meet everybody, because you just see and you just talk to them like, like this, or you're like texting them or like messaging them on Instagram. And like, I'm really excited to meet people. I'm very nice. I'm short as hell. So if you do see me, you have to kind of look down to see me. Because I might get lost in a crowd. Mm-hmm. But And like I'm gonna say this one thing, I'm gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
But it reminds me like so during my Disney influencer time, when I used to work at Disney, and it was like around 2015, 16. I would meet people, like I would meet these influencers that wouldn't give you the time of day. They wouldn't even look at you if you didn't have like X amount of followings, or if you just posted a picture and it didn't get 75 likes within like 2 to 3 minutes. Like people were, I'm like, this is a glorified theme park. You're paying like, for me, I worked there, so I got to go in for free. But like people were paying to get into these parks, and then on top of that, you have the audacity to act like
It's so silly.
this.
If you zoom out of your life, it looks so silly.
It was horrible. And so just to tie us all up, stay humble, people, especially cosplayers. Like, I may not be a full-time cosplayer. I may be your I'm gonna tie this to the Jewish community in some way. I'm one of those people that like shows up to like temple for the high holidays and they just never see it again. Like that's like me as a cosplayer. Like I'll show up for the major events like Star Wars Celebration. I will cosplay somebody or my original character. But like other than that, I'm not a cosplayer every single day. But still, like I have this, these are things I do think about like all the time, because I never want to offend somebody, and I always want people to feel safe and home and welcome in my own bubble space.
Yep.
And that's just common sense.
Yeah. Because that's what you want other people to do to you.
Right. So if you've taken anything from this episode today, just be, especially as a cosplayer, or if you're a fan of cosplay, or if you're somebody that appreciates from afar, have respect, let people live their life because they're not actively hurting yours. Support all cosplayers. And I'm not just saying people who look exactly like the character from your favorite anime or your favorite TV show, your favorite movie. Support small creators that are POC, Black creators, Hispanic creators, like European like support everybody, support all genders, support all sexualities. What blows my mind is that like more and more, especially like in the United States, don't know how much Canada is like this, but in the United States there's still that piece of that the big chunk of this country that is so anti-LGBTQ plus. And it blows my mind because a lot of these conservative nerds or conservative fans like are very against like all this, but then all of their favorite brands and their favorite like movies and their favorite fandoms are in support of like Star Wars giving the biggest middle finger to every single person who gave hate to Moses Ingram was my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. They literally put their middle finger up and it said, F you. She is an essence and an essential part of this story. She's valid. F off.
Yep.
It was my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. And she slayed.
Slayed the house down boots. Slayed the house down boots. And it just like so it just blows my mind. That I'm like, oh, you hate this person? Well, guess what? The fandom celebrates them, or the creators celebrate them for who they are. And even like I'm seeing more shows with a lot of LGBTQ plus relationships and characters, and it's making me like happy because I'm bisexual. But there's people out there that don't see themselves represented so much on screen. So the fact that we're now starting to see them come up on screen is just, it's a great thing. So I hope that's what everyone took away from this episode, is just be kind.
Yes.
Be smart. Don't be an asshole. And if you are an asshole, just keep it to yourself.
Just be a quiet asshole.
Be a quiet asshole. There you go. I don't know if that's possible, but be a quiet asshole. Well, ladies and gents, it was such a great time having you on, Victoria. I'm so happy you were here. So, fun fact, if you've made it to this part of the episode, congratulations. I'm going to say this. We tried filming this last weekend, literally did the entire podcast, exactly what you probably just saw today, last weekend. But her audio kept not working, so it kept pulling her out of the recording. And literally, like, there's times on the recording that I have from last week that you just see me and her, and then her pop off, and then like it's just me, and I'm like, I can't hear a single thing she's saying, and I'm like, oh god. So we had to redo this again. So thank you so much. I need to do this one more time and put up with this, but. We've messaged each other on Instagram, we comment on each other's stuff, but just getting this time to really just have a conversation together and get to know each other and not be so pressured with having all these other people on streams. Like, no shade to obviously all the streams that I've been invited to and I'm on, but sometimes it can be very overwhelming.
Yep.
So having something like intimate like this, I love, which is why I like having my podcast, because it will always be me and somebody else, and it's just kind of getting to know each other more, and I love this. So I'm very happy that you agreed to come on my podcast. I'm so happy.
Well, thank you for having me on. It was so fun.
No, of course. Like I said, the more females I can have on my podcast, the better. It just makes it home. It makes it feel like something that I've been working on for so long just coming to life. And it's like literally all the girls that I asked to be on my podcast, they said yes to. And I'm like so happy, because one, I just want everyone to also see the amazing work you do, because you do such amazing work on your Instagram. Your face painting and your cosplays are awesome. And they're very much you. It's very individual. Like, I will say, people literally go and follow her, and go follow her YouTube channel where she sings and she does covers. She's very, she's very talented, and I don't see that in other people. Like, face painting, like, at least in my community, I have a very, like, once again, fandoms everywhere, but in every single fandom, there's all of our niches. And in our niche, I have not found another person like you. So, like, go follow her, go support her. She's the best person ever. And if you're in Toronto, please, like, if you see her at a convention, please ask permission first before you take pictures with her.
Yes.
Ask permission. Be respectful. Be human.
Or be a dog or a cat. That's okay.
I really want a dog. I just don't have the time to take care of them.
They're a lot of work.
They are. But ladies and gents, cannot wait for next episode, which will be having Izzy on. I'm going to be talking about the dark side and the light side, because that's a whole thing in itself. But ladies and gents, have the best week ever. Drink some water, have some coffee, and if you don't drink coffee, drink your tea. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.